Second race on the programme at Happy Valley, Class 5 again. We get up though to the 2200 metres here. We do have the field of 12 though going to post. Headed by Crown Avenue, raced third on the all-weather last Wednesday night behind Lucky Victor. Super Hong Kong second up, gets up from the Mard to the 2200 metres. El Valiente also coming out of the Lucky Victor race last week where he finished in fourth place. Go Ballistic won over the 1800 metres first up this season, fourth on his last start. We've got Fortune Tribble, who's behind Go Ballistic last time out, finishing down the field though there. Fortune Patrol, who's won over this trip but at Sha Tin. Winning Genghis gets the visor on as he returns to action first up since June. Gets a 10-point drop though last time we saw him. And Wealthy Employee third up for the campaign now, Jimmy Ting and Vincent Ho, but does suffer with barrier number 11. So slow in the early stage. The 2000 metre start, Tom, down the back straight.
Yeah, so it's a little bit further away from the first turn than it was on Sunday at Happy Valley with the C+3 rail. No real natural leader engaged in this race at all. Crown Avenue has led in the past, and maybe they stoke him up early. Karis Teaton out of gate number 12 to try and cross them early. Go Ballistic, potentially handy out of 3. El Valiente's got a draw of barrier number 5, and then it looks tricky for Fortune Patrol. I feel like he's probably going to go back Fortune Patrol and maybe even Magnetism there. Super Hong Kong's a horse that is drawn better this time round as well, so not a lot of speed in this race.
Okay. All right, we'll hear from Blake Shin very shortly about Go Ballistic. For a couple of races first though, Paul. On the all-weather last week, Crown Avenue, who has won on the turf in the past, and El Valiente, good fourth here. It was actually ridden by Blake this night.
Yeah, it was a nice run, I thought, from El Valiente. Stepping back up to 22, or stepping up to 2200 metres is the key, because he's always looked like a bit of a star. El Valiente gets the apprentice claim of as well, with Alfred Chan taking the £7 off. So look, I definitely included him.
Crown Avenue's in. He's at a big price in the market at the moment. Early in betting, he was sort of the rear and he took off wider. I thought he stayed on well enough there without getting too carried away. He has placed a couple of times course and distance.
Okay. What about Super Hong Kong then, Tom? He's taking a big jump up in trip from the mile, and Jolly Forever was in this race as well.
Well, you'd think that the way that he's sort of been running in his last couple of runs, Super Hong Kong, there shouldn't be too much of an issue with 2200 metres, because he looks like he just wants to stay all day. He settled at the rear, and I thought once he got to the clear out wide here, right down the outside, he finished off well enough. Trial was, I thought, okay coming into this, but none from 8 so far, Paul. Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? Look, I've got him and I haven't got him on top. I think with Joe Moreira from a low draw, he's by Kermadec, and you're seeing a lot of that progeny staying in Australia at the moment. So the 22 should be a positive for him. Yeah, Jolly Forever as well improved on his next start to finish third as he stepped up in trip. So again, up to the 2200 metres could be good for him. What about Go Ballistic? Well, I was out at track work this morning to catch up with Blake Shin.
Blake, you rode Go Ballistic for David Ferraris in race number 2. He's a horse in a bit of form. What are your thoughts going into Wednesday night? Yeah, I think he sets up to run nicely. His form at the back end of last season and at the early part of this season is really, really good. He steps up to 2200, which I think should be a recipe, hopefully, for success again. Although he hasn't been tried at 2200, his pedigree suggests he'll run it out strongly, and looking forward to riding him. You mentioned his form. He won well 2 starts back and then back to that with a solid effort last time out. You weren't on board for those, but you have ridden him in track work since. How's he felt? Look, he's felt terrific. He's stretching out nicely. He appears to be holding his form, and yeah, I can't see why he won't run a great race again. You've drawn low, barrier 3 from the 2200 metre start. That makes things a little bit easier heading into that first turn. Yeah, 100%. He's a horse that jumps well, and tomorrow night I envisage us going forward, taking up a prominent position. I reckon we're going to be in the first 3, hopefully taking control of the race. And like I said, I think he'll stay strongly, and you know, being in that good position with not much speed, I think he'll run well. Had a bit of success for the stable on the weekend as well. Bear again, that was a nice win. You had to sweat on it for a couple of minutes, but still across the line in front, and it's good to keep the race too. Yeah, so that's right. It was great to get the result. Great training performance. He was off the scene for some time and had an injury. He's a really courageous horse, and you know, I copped the wrath of the stewards there because he was, you know, running on tired legs there at the end. But it was nice to get the result, and yeah, it was just good to get another winner on the board this season.
He's a horse you've had a bit of success with in the past. You hopefully can go on with it this season now?
Look, I hope so. Like I said, he came off the back of an injury and he's such a gallant horse. I believe he can win in Class 2. I won't be able to ride him because he gets down in the weights, but he just needs circumstances to go his own way, like the right distance and maybe getting a nice time in front. But he's got enough ability and he tries very hard, so hopefully he can go on with it now.
All right, we look out for Bear again down the track, but Go Ballistic, positive report from him as well. Paul, 12 and 4.8 about him at this stage. What are your thoughts?
I think that's overs, 12, 4.8, because I've got him on top, Go Ballistic. I think he could lead. I mean, there's no natural leader, as we saw in the speed map, and he's drawn the inside. I see all 4 selections of mine have drawn quite well here. Go Ballistic, I think, from barrier number 3, because the 2200 metre mark can be a little bit sticky there just before the bend. Super Hong Kong, he's in there for second. Second start in Class 5, barrier number 2 with Joe aboard. El Valiente, another one that's drawn really nicely in barrier 5 with the Apprentice claim. And Exaltation, who's drawn barrier 4, another one who's got a bit of a claim. And he's been placed twice over the distance before as well. 5-2-4-7 in race number 2, Tom.
Well, this is not sort of the typical sort of profile of a horse I'd normally go for, an 18 start maiden, but he's off 24 here. And he's 1-for-1 course and distance in terms of placing. That is Wealthy Employee, who ran 7th last time out behind Viva Popcorn. But you go back 4 runs and he was second to Sky Gem, only beaten 2 lengths there. So sort of trying to find a bit of an angle there with Wealthy Employee. Super Hong Kong goes in, Crown Avenue and Exaltation. He's a horse that's had 3 starts course and distance and has placed in 2 of them. So 12, 2, 1 and 7.
Go Ballistic for me as well on top. I do give Jolly Forever, though, a bit of a chance. I think up in trip. He's had a trial since his last start as well. Looked good in that. That's race number 2, Class 5 over the 2200 metres.